The Toronto Raptors are heating up at the perfect time, playing their best basketball of the season, and have now extended their win streak to 5 straight games, and they're coming off of an absolutely brutal stretch of hard-fought games that saw them win 4 games in the last 5 days, and the game before that to start off the streak had the Raptors take the Heat to triple overtime in a win. All of the starters played over 50 minutes in that game, and what's absurd to see is that over this 5-game stretch, every single one of the starters on this team are all averaging over 40 minutes a game. This team has earned a much needed weekend off to get their legs back, yet if the Raptors truly want to make a run in the playoffs, they are going to need to make a move to give them some much needed bench depth to ensure that this starting group isn't absolutely gassed when the playoffs come around. To say the least, the starters on this team have been absolutely dominating on the court, which is a fantastic sign to see for Raptors fans, especially considering that they're a relatively young group together. The Raptors currently find themselves in 7th place, just 1 game back of the Nets, and what's insane is that they're just 5 games back from the first seeded Chicago Bulls. And the thing is that during this 5-game streak, the Raptors had beat 3 extremely strong Eastern Conference teams in the process, as they beat the Miami Heat twice, who at the time were the #1 seed in the East, albeit they're battling injuries on the roster, the Chicago Bulls, who are currently in first in the East, and the Atlanta Hawks, who as of late have been one of the hottest teams in the NBA, who have won 8 of their last 10 games, and those 2 losses they took were both to these Toronto Raptors. What makes the future of this team look even brighter than it currently is after this streak is that the Raptors have the 5th easiest remaining schedule in the entire NBA, so the chances of them potentially making a run at a top seed in the Eastern Conference are as legit as they could ever be, especially with how this team has been playing. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. To start off, I need to give credit to Siakam and Vanvleet, the 2 leaders of this team, joined an extremely exclusive group of players, as they are one of just 2 other duos in NBA history since the ABA-NBA merger to each tally 325 points and 100 assists in a calendar month. The other 2 duos, well, they were Magic Johnson and Norm Nixon in 1979, and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in 1992. I think this stat speaks for itself on how dominant this duo has been. Vanvleet, the man that deserves all the love in the world from this Toronto Raptors fan base, as he's had one of the best stories in the NBA, being an undrafted guard who then became an NBA champion, and now for the first time in his career, he can officially call himself an all-star. It goes without question just how much Vanvleet deserves this accolade, as I did an in-depth breakdown of his season in one of my previous videos that you guys can check out after this. He has been the go-to guy in this team all season that has been relied upon to make fantastic play after fantastic play, who has also been one of the most exceptional role models for the younger guys on this team. Vanvleet, without a doubt, deserves every ounce of recognition he's received this season for his play on both sides of the ball, and with his experience and leadership, he can most definitely lead this team to an extremely strong run to end off the season. Paired alongside him, Siakam has truly made a statement over these last couple of weeks to potentially push for a spot in replacing the injured Kevin Durant in the AllStar Game. His numbers all season are already better than those of both Tatum and Chris Middleton, who are already named All-Stars, and the fact that he's been able to play some of his best basketball of the season recently means he's getting hot at just the right time for Adam Silver to give him the nod to head to Cleveland with his teammate. The other 2 guys he's up against for the vacant All-Star spot that is going to need to be filled is Jarrett Allen, a guy who's been a strong contributor on a very good Cavs team this year, and Jaylen Brown. Once again, Siakam's overall numbers are better than both of those guys, but we'll see what gets decided, as I honestly think that no matter what, this Raptors team has 2 All-Stars on their roster, even if only one of them gets to go to Cleveland. Although he's cooled down over his last 2 games, the 5 games before that, Gary Trent Jr. hasn't been able to miss, as he's joined a group of just 3 others who have scored 30 plus points and 5 plus threes in 5 straight games, and the elite company that he is now with is Curry, Harden, and Lillard. Over that stretch, he put the NBA on notice, as he also tied a franchise record with DeRozan for 5 30-plus point performances in a row, shooting over 50% in his last 7 games games from 3. After the news broke where Portland traded Norman Powell to the Clippers for almost nothing in return, even though it was already obvious, that just means that the Toronto Raptors officially won that trade between those two. And it's actually insane to think that Gary Trent is only just 23 years old, with so much potential still ahead of him to develop into, as he's already emerged into an elite scorer on this roster. But on top of that, he's consistently been able to show that he can play extremely solid defense very consistently, where it's even to the point that he almost averages 2 steals per game on the year. Lastly, both Scottie Barnes and OG haven't joined any exclusive groups just yet over these past couple of games, but that doesn't take anything away from them being extremely solid counterparts to those 3 over this stretch, both shooting the ball very efficiently and playing some very strong defense for this team. They've been no doubt absolutely perfect pieces to finish off this starting lineup that has proven to be amongst the best in the league in terms of their play together. Scottie Barnes as a rookie is still just getting more confident the more he plays, and the amount of time he's been able to log on the floor is going to do wonders for both his confidence and his development. And OG, still just 24, hasn't made the leap Raptors fans had hoped for, but the fact that he's just 24 years old means he's just now entering his prime and hasn't had a disappointing season in any regards. I feel like he just had decently high expectations set on him. All in all, this starting lineup is as legit as it gets, and you can definitely tell that Nick Nurse has all the confidence in the world in them to go out there, give you 40 minutes a night, and come out with the win against top teams in the NBA. But there is one glaring issue about that. This team needs to find some help at the trade deadline for these guys, as even though they're still young, the Raptors are going to want them at their 100% come playoff time to ensure the chances of this team making a run that I believe most people think they can do. It's going to be very interesting to see whether this team will end up making a move, yet if they were to, it would need to be for a true 7-foot big to help guard against guys like Embiid and Giannis in the playoffs, as that will be one glaring hole if we match up against them. That's going to be all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and as always, if you did, be sure to hit that like button as it helps this video get shared across YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more basketball videos like this one that I will be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.